On today's show, it's a rivalry renewed. The Ottawa Senators back on home ice to take on the Detroit Red Wings. We've got a full game day preview.
In a matchup between two of the teams with the longest playoff droughts, we'll compare and contrast the Red Wings and Senators.
This is Brady Tkachuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
You're Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators, the only daily podcast covering the Sens. On the outskirts of enemy territory, I'm Ross Levitan, alongside Brandon Piller up in the Blue Mountains. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and if you win, you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets. That is at FanDuel.com. Today is Thursday, December 5th, and Pilsy, we're hoping for a pizza party in the postcast tonight, but for the first time this season, the Senators and Red Wings will renew acquaintances.
Oh man, Ross, this is a game I've been waiting for a while. The fact that they put the Pizza Line reunion on tonight emphasizes it even more. It's pathetic how badly I need this win, Ross. Like this game is so magnified for Sens games. The Sens need to get things going here. A game up against the Red Wings would boost morale if they can get the W here. And there's a couple keys to victory. There's a couple paths that I can see the Senators taking to be able to have success.
Well, we'll get to that in a little while, but two teams who are just tied at the hip in the standings. The Detroit Red Wings have played one more game, and they have 2 more points. So in terms of points percentage, these teams are neck and neck. They are 8th and 9th, respectively. It's not respectively.
Yeah, not respectfully.
Respectively in the standings, right near the bottom of the barrel. With Buffalo, who, by the way, you said 2 of the teams with the longest playoff droughts. If it wasn't for Buffalo almost lapping both Detroit and Ottawa, they would be 1 and 2.
Well, wait, the thing with Buffalo, Ross, is it's a two-edged sword, depending on how you spin zone it. A little saber.
Two-edged saber, there you
like
go.
That? You like that? Because I was talking to my buddy the other day, and I was telling him how bad the Sens been, and he's like, well, like, you got to be close to the other side here. Like, the playoff drought's got to be over soon. I was like, dude, the Buffalo Sabres, is it 13 years now?
13 years.
Just because you're in year 7 of a playoff drought does not mean it's almost over. Like, we could be halfway through our tragedy and despair. Like, we're not like we gotta go another 6 years and still might not be over. So like, it gives you solace being like, at least we're not the Sabres. But then you look in the mirror and you're like, what if we become the Sabres?
No.
And Red Wings fans might have something similar, although they can piggyback on the 25 straight years of making the playoffs and multiple cups in that time frame. Whereas, I don't know, like, we got the Pizza Line.
We got the Pizza Line.
We got the Pizza Line. They're owned by Little Caesars, and they don't even have a Pizza Line.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah.
So that's a really great vibe to start off the show. The first game day and since Sunday, like, this is the longest time the Senators have gone without playing a game since the season started. It feels like forever, but things are going to get busy again because there's another back-to-back this weekend. So Ottawa is starting a 3 games in 4-night stretch. However, all on home ice. So no travel. You got 2 teams coming in, Nashville Saturday, the Islanders Sunday. But tonight it's all about the Detroit Red Wings. And it's almost, if you can't beat them, take them. Because the Red Wings have not been able to beat the Ottawa Senators in recent years. In fact, since the start of the 2019 season, the Senators hold a 12-2-1 record in 15 games against Detroit. And as we're filling out the lineup today, I see Vladimir Tarasenko. I see Alex DeBrincat. I see Tyler Mott in the top 6. Austin Watson not expected to play, but he's in the Detroit Red Wings organization now. So kind of interesting. Cam Talbot in goal. Thank you. And then on the Senators side, we're not going to see, speaking of injuries, we're not going to see David Perron, who was front and center last year. Ironically, both him and Artem Zub are out of the lineup for Ottawa with injuries. But this, to me, is a must-win game, divisional game, a team that's 2 points ahead of you in the standings. You will tie them with a win tonight in regulation. Huge points on the line for Ottawa. And look, for as disappointing as November was, they are 2-1-1 in their last 3 games. Take the opponents out of it. If you can manufacture another 2-1-1 stretch here, followed by another 2-1-1 stretch, we'll at least start to build a little bit of point totals here, as sad as that may sound. Here's how the Ottawa Senators are expected to line up tonight. And before we get to the players that were at practice yesterday, and as I mentioned, it is a early recording week for us, so actually there is no morning skate. I guess Ottawa's doing away with the morning skates. It will be an off-ice workout. I'm sure we'll hear from Danny Heatley at some point today. Go to Twitter at Sens Central, and we will get you that information. The Ottawa Senators called up Nicholas Matin-Palo on Monday, and he's got the flu. Like, did he get the flu on the way from Belleville? I'm so confused why a player would be called up if they cannot participate in practice.
Yeah, what, he had lunch in Kingston and picked up the flu there? Like, I don't know. Like, it does seem like a very strange move, Ross, especially like, you know, if it was something like he tweaked a leg muscle or something and can't play. Still disappointing, but whatever. But having the flu, like, what if he comes, he can't play, and he spreads the flu to the rest of the team? That's the last thing we need here.
I could tell you the first thing we need here, Shane Pinto to get going. I'm not getting into my Locked On player just yet, but here's how the lines shook out at practice yesterday. The midlife crisis line is up front. Josh Norris between Brady Tkachuk and Drake Batherson. You've got Tim Stützle with Ridley Gregg and Claude Giroux. Shane Pinto in between Nick Cousins and Michael Amadio, and Adam Gaudette centering Cole Reinhardt and Noah Gregor. We had a little inside the biz fight yesterday at practice. Bruce Garriock and Claire Hanna, good friends, but my goodness, we've got some discrepancies in the lines. Oh man, TSN 1200 went with the same as Bruce, so we've chosen to go with that, but we might see Zach Ostapchuk play. He was the center as an extra on Bruce and TSN 1200s, whereas Claire had him at fourth line center with Gaudette on the wing and Cole Reinhardt as the extra. So again, stay tuned as things shake out today. One thing that you can put a lock key, put it in stone, Sanderson and Travis Hamonic will play together again. Thomas Chabot with Nick Jensen and Tyler Clevin will be paired with JBD. Hashtag NodakSens. After 3 full days off, Pilsy, I'm not even putting a thought to this. We are not waiting for confirmation. Linus Ullmark has to start in goal tonight for your Ottawa Senators.
And that's never came around to make us look silly on projecting goalies before, right?
Never.
So, Ross, just because we're so sure of it and it's never backfired on us, my Locked On player is going to be number 35, Linus Ullmark. Look, these are the types of wins, the divisional games that we need Linus Ullmark to be at his best. His last 2 games have been incredible. Like, really, like you look at up.
Well, Pilsy, since you took the accountability route,
yes,
and you took his jersey down for just a couple days,
took it down.
Since you put it back, what are his numbers?
Do we remember what day that was?
Well,
after
you took
the
it
Vancouver
down.
Game.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
well, I've got him here. I'll tell you.
You woke him up.
It's only been 2 games, and up against heavy hitting teams, the
Woo!
San Jose Sharks.
Dude, the Sharks are actually buzzing right now.
36 saves on 39 shots, a .923 save percentage. And then up against another heavy hitter, a team that many are predicting will be in contention for the Stanley Cup, the Anaheim Ducks.
Woo!
34 shots, 31 saves, and .912 save percentage. So let's keep the good times rolling for Linus Ullmark here. I'm going to be locked on to number 35 to keep this team in the game and get them over the hump here. Ross, when we get to the Red Wings, I'll let you know a little stat about how close games have been for them recently.
Yes, and we will get to the Red Wings and our lookout players, keys to victory, and a quick look at the Sens versus Red Wings rebuilds in quotations. My locked on player tonight will be Shane Pinto. The last time these 2 teams played, Shane Pinto was laying on the ice behind the net after crashing into the boards. when he put in the overtime winner.
True.
So I want him to watch that goal on repeat over and over again all day, because I feel like at some point when you've gone now 11 straight games without a point, it's going to be a mental battle as much as it is being in the right spot on the ice. So Shane Pinto, he did a lot of great things in that third period. I thought Cousins and Amadio, they combined to score the game-tying goal there against Anaheim. I know there's been 3 days off, but hopefully those three can maintain a little bit of a rhythm here, because you're going to need them tonight if you're going to score in depth and get some extra looks offensively. So I'm going to be locked on to Shane Pinto in tonight's game. Okay, let's get to the Red Wings next, then the rebuild, then we'll wrap up with keys to victory. We got some stats that really should lend a hand to helping Ottawa get a win in tonight's game. If you want more on the pizza line, check out yesterday's episode. We gave our best memories of those 2 glorious years back in the mid-2000s. That's next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Get ready to take NFL action to the next level with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So, when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com today. And go ahead. Oh, you're muted. Try again.
Why are the Ottawa Senators such big favorites in every game right now? It's driving me bananas.
Yeah, I mean, I believe they're at what, minus 184 on
182. Line's moving.
Okay, the line's moving. And if you want to get in on the action, Ross, right now, FanDuel is offering a promo where you can get a 25% bonus bet on when you place a new deposit. So put $100 in, you get $25 in bonus bets.
Shane Pinto plus 330 to score tonight. Here we go.
If you're feeling good about that, get your deposit in and get some bonus cash with FanDuel. And new customers will get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com.
All right, Pilsy, game day for the Ottawa Senators taking on the Detroit Red Wings. 7 o'clock puck drop, maybe a little bit later with the ceremonial face-off and everything that's going on, the pageantry around tonight's game. Just quickly, because Sens fans are undefeated. My goodness. Last night, I got to host the 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock news in Winnipeg, Saskatoon, and Regina. And the amount of Sens fans that flocked over to Global Winnipeg's page and were commenting and tagging me in those videos, I got to tell you, it means a lot. And it also just shows how tight-knit Sens Army is. So I just wanted to say that I got a great laugh out of it. I've already gotten a text from my boss being like, hey, do you have an online presence? We've noticed that our videos with you in it are getting a lot of play. It was like the most dangerous man wanted in Winnipeg. And everyone's like, this is awesome. It was great. So thank you to everyone who took the time to comment.
Yeah, congrats, man. That's awesome. You look so good up there.
Man.
Are you going to have to start wearing a suit to each podcast now? Big suit guy now?
No, I'm a garment bag guy. I just bring it and I put it on right in the studio.
Nice. Love that.
Comfort's key. Comfort's key.
But yeah, that is awesome that so many people check that out. And yeah, that's got to be so weird for the people that does the news.
The social media. Oh, yeah. Dude, all the tweets.
Why are people saying go Sens go on Winnipeg's most wanted criminal news?
Dude, people are like, your news every day. It was just so many great one-liners there. So yeah, I just wanted to take the time to acknowledge that. And we also...
I'm just waiting for you to, in a news segment, for you to throw back, be like, all right, Pillsy, back to the
Yeah. So good, man. Oh, dude, that's awesome. And hopefully the Ottawa Senators can score 5 or more goals tonight. And no sponsor on this. This is just guys being dudes. If the Senators score 5 or more goals tonight, for each goal the Senators score, again, if they win and score 5, so minimum 5 pizzas we're tossing out tonight, we will pick 5 through a randomizer. We will pick 5 comments on either yesterday or today's podcast. Both of them do qualify. If you put a slice of pizza emoji, you will qualify to potentially have Pilsy and I. You send us the receipt for your large pizza, and we will reimburse you for that because we want the pizza line to really mean something tonight. So I'm hoping the Sens can put up 6 or 7. Take a dent out of our wallet, and let's make it cheesy, saucy, and I'll even throw in a couple dipping sauces.
Oh, yeah. It wouldn't be pizza without the dipping sauce.
So, ironically, and this was pointed out to us on Twitter as well. I actually want to find who made the connection here. It was at Sens_HQ. Kind of funny. They're doing the pizza line reunion against a team that's owned by Little Caesars in the States.
Yeah, I was aware of that, and I was trying to think of some clever way to bring it into the show, but I couldn't.
I just did.
Well, I mean, that wasn't that clever.
I just said it was ironic.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Yeah, spot the line.
Your wit is through the charts, Ross. Yeah, I couldn't think of something. So you know what? I'll give it to you, Ross. That was an eloquent way to put that.
Thanks so much. Here's how the Detroit Red Wings are expected to line up tonight. Dylan Larkin, top line center. He's highlighted there. He is not in the photo. You might recognize that little guy over there on the right. Left wing on the top line is Michael Rasmussen. At right wing, it is number 23, Lucas Raymond. For my money, the best player on this team. JT Compher, second line center with Tyler Mott and Alex DeBrincat. The Comph and Sens line there. And then Marco Kasper at third line center between Jonathan Berggren and Vladimir Tarasenko. The fourth line is Andrew Kopp, Joe Veleno, and Christian Fischer. On the back end, big dogs on the top pair. Simon Edvinsson standing 6'6" with 6'3" Moritz Seider. The second line is Ben Sherratt with Jeff Petrie. And the third line, Eric Gustafsson with Justin Hall. We expect Ville Husso to start in goal. Sebastian Cossa has been called up. Cossa has not played in an NHL game in his career. However, talking with Red Wings fans, they say he's basically just had a really good year in the AHL, and they want him in NHL practices to get used to the flow of that. Cam Talbot is out day to day and should be back in the next few days. No Patrick Kane either. He is also out day to day, and he has been a Senators killer. Pilsy, that Chris Neil retirement game right before he got traded from the Chicago Blackhawks, he tied the game, and then he won the game, and then he got moved the next day. We're like, hey, you couldn't have, done the whole precautionary trade, sit him early move. Really unfortunate there. But who is your lookout player to watch on Detroit?
Yeah, I'll never forgive Patrick Kane for that. My lookout player for the Detroit Red Wings is Vladimir Tarasenko. He was a great player in Ottawa when he was here. And in the last 3 games with the Red Wings, he's been picking things up a little bit after a bit of a slow start. He's got 3 points in his last 3 games, 2 goals, 1 assist, no points in the game up against Boston, but a goal up against Vancouver and a goal and an assist up against the New Jersey Devils. And that third line has a really nice makeup to it, and I'm interested to see how that third line is going to pair or battle up against the Ottawa Senators third line.
And I'll say Marco Kasper as a bonus for me. He's got 3 points in his last 2 games. Young kid, 2021 draft. Some say Ottawa should have 2022 draft. Ottawa obviously trading the 7th overall pick in that draft for Alex DeBrincat.
For that, Ross, I tweeted out right before the Ottawa Senators will select Marco Kasper with the 7th overall pick, and you and Martian clowned on me, being like, "There's no way they're even keeping that pick." And moments later, they traded it away.
Nice. Well, he's looking like he's starting to fit in real nice on this team. Now, the stats don't really show it with 21 games, 2 goals, 7 points, but he's starting to really figure it out at the NHL level. So you got to keep an eye on him. But my lookout player will be Lucas Raymond, the second or third best player from the 2020 NHL draft. He was drafted 4th overall, right sandwiched between those 2 Ottawa picks in Stützle and Sanderson. Lucas Raymond just hit 200 points in his NHL career, the second fastest player from that draft to get there. He's at 201. Tim Stützle is at 277. Lucas Raymond having a great start to his season. 27 points in 25 games this year. He has 9 goals, 18 assists, and he brings it, man. He's got a great shot, great playmaker, comes through in clutch moments as well. I'm a big fan of what Lucas Raymond can do at the National Hockey League level. He's already got, 3 of his 9 goals this year are game winners. This guy comes in clutch. He also scored a huge goal late last season to keep the Red Wings in it. Obviously, the Wings were the last team eliminated on a tiebreaker in game 82. So that's how the Red Wings line up. On the other side, we'll get to our keys to victory and a quick look at how the rebuilds have gone both in Ottawa and Detroit. That's next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day. All right, Pilsy, a nostalgic day today in Ottawa with the pizza line being honored. We discussed that on yesterday's Locked On Senators. It is a 7 o'clock puck drop, and we will see you in the postcast after tonight's game for what's hopefully a pizza party, but if not, we will be there, win or lose, on the postcast. If you're looking to go to tonight's game, it is the first of many December buses for the Glebe Central Pub. You can get your tickets to the Glebe Central Pub Shuttle online, $17 round trip to and from the CTC. It's the best way to be among Sens fans going to the games. Just select it. You heard about them on the Locked On Senators podcast. Great local business doing great work. We appreciate the heck out of our friends over at the GCP. Let's save our keys to victory for the very end of the show. It'll be a way to ride out into the sunset. Both teams trying to ride out of their playoff droughts. Ottawa 7 seasons, Detroit 8 seasons. But if you talk to Red Wings fans, and I think it's fair, they had so many bad contracts at the start of that their rebuild didn't really start until Steve Yzerman got there.
Yeah, and that's fair. But Ross, they got a couple not great contracts right now as well. Like, we looked at the lineup. Their fourth line center is making $5.6 million for the next 3 years.
Yeesh.
Oops.
Well, he got there, Yzerman, by the way, Ottawa legend, in 2019. So right before the season that was cut short due to COVID. He was the VP of Hockey Ops and General Manager. He still holds both of those titles. But when you look at the Red Wings and what they have, I think where they have more hope going forward is that they have a prospect pool that hasn't been decimated by trades and rash decisions. Like Simon Edvinsson, you're going to see tonight as a guy who is just getting his feet wet at the NHL level, 2021 draft pick. They've got Marco Kasper. They got more guys coming. We're a big fan of Brandsegg Nygaard that they got in the first round this year. They obviously have a type, him and Kasper, very similar players, the way they play. But when you're looking at the rebuild, and they've got this Sandin Pellikka, I might be mispronouncing that. Apologies if I am, but they've got guys coming. And I think that's the difference is right now they're neck and neck in the standings. They're neck and neck in terms of what they have at the NHL level. I'd argue Ottawa's roster probably better on paper, but it doesn't matter when you're same in the standings. They keep score for a reason. So that's why I'm looking at it like, Ottawa really needs to win this game and jump the Wings in the standings, because in the future, in the next 5 years, there's a lot more young kids coming for Detroit, whereas Ottawa's young kids are all already in the lineup. Heck, I called them the midlife crisis line. Obviously, a bit of a joke callback to yesterday's show, but like Ottawa needs to win now, whereas Detroit, would be nice to win now, but they've got a little more leash in terms of what's coming.
Yeah, definitely. And they also are not getting a first-round pick stolen from them from the NHL and Gary Bettman. Yeah. That helps as well. But Ross, you talk about points and these two teams fighting with each other. One area where the Detroit Red Wings have been better than the Ottawa Senators is keeping games close and finding ways to get points out of those games. Ross, I was looking at Detroit's recent schedule, and in their last 8 games, 7 of them have been 1-goal games, and 4 of them have gone to overtime. So, like, this is a team that is able to keep things close and at least is able to push it to overtime. But that's crazy when your last 8 games, 7 of them are 1-goal games. And the only one that wasn't, ironically, was up against the Islanders, a 4-2 win. So it's not like that was like a blowout one way or another either. So they may not be able to kind of beat the wheels off teams, but they're also not having that happen to them as well. So I thought that was interesting, and something that to keep an eye on with the Ottawa Senators tonight. I don't think we're going to see a blowout one way or another.
No, and our friend Iserman Season over on Twitter sent a couple notes here and says they've got a way of parking the bus on a lead, and that's come back to bite them a little bit, where the team will come back and get a win like Vancouver did. Vancouver was down against Detroit last weekend. I watched that full game, and I do think that's something that Ottawa could take advantage of, because it feels like Ottawa's similar in a way. When they get up in games, they're like, oh, we got this, right? Or they wait until they're down 3 goals.
Get up in games?
Yeah, exactly. They haven't had a whole lot of leads. Well,
Yeah.
I guess the San Jose game's the one I'm referencing here, where they really parked the bus and basically got to center and dumped it in, got to center and dumped it in over and over again.
Not by choice, Ross. Like, the Sharks were just putting so much pressure on them. They couldn't get anything else going.
Yeah, that was tough to watch. Hopefully it's a more entertaining game tonight back at the Canadian Tire Center, but you got to be able to win the battles when the Red Wings don't have that pair of Edvinsson and Seider on the ice. They're one of the top pairs in terms of allowing the least amount of expected goals per 60 minutes. They're top 20 in expected goals for per 60 as well. And this is a team that doesn't score a whole lot at 5-on-5. So that gives me a bit of pause here when those two are out there. How do you think Ottawa should handle that pair? Do you put the Norris line up against them and try to have Brady wear them down? Big guys. Edvinsson, not the most physical. Not saying he's soft by any means, but he's not the bruising defenseman that you could expect from a guy standing 6'6". Do you try to put a little pressure on him with Brady, or are you trying to put Tim Stützle up against his German counterpart in Moritz Seider?
Give it to the German, Ross, and not Moritz Seider. Give it to Tim Stützle. I'm putting Timmy's line there. Timmy's the best player on this team easily. And if you want to put pressure on a D-core or a D-pair that's a little bit younger but having success, I think the best way to give them problems is to have Tim Stützle up against them.
Even though he's playing between Ridley Gregg and Claude Giroux tonight, I still don't get it how that line's a thing.
Yeah, I can't believe that they put Adam Gaudette back on the fourth line and elevated Ridley Gregg's game. Like it just seems so obvious to me that Gaudette was the right piece to be in that top 6 for now. He's got 12 goals. Come on. And then Ridley Gregg was playing so much better in the bottom 6. So Travis Green,
most fourth lines in the league don't have 12 goals combined.
Seriously. Yeah. Like, I don't understand Travis Green's rationale for his lineup decisions. I'll say that.
But if it's Alfie's decision, we totally understand and it makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
Your key to victory tonight for the Ottawa Senators.
Ross, I am almost nervous to say this because every time I highlight a key weakness or a key advantage that the Ottawa Senators should have, it never ends up working out. But this one, it's a slam dunk. The Detroit Red Wings have the worst penalty kill in the league. And I'm not talking like slightly worse or like, you know, like if they get a boost from the PK, they're back in the middle of the pack. And the Ottawa Senators are 24th in the league. So not like the Sens are great either, but the Detroit Red Wings penalty kill percentage is 65.3. So math guide, they're only stopping power plays like roughly 2 out of 3 times. So 1 out of 3 times you're scoring on the power play up against the Red Wings. And it's been a big issue for them, Ross. In their last 4 games, they've allowed power play goals in every single game.
Ooh.
And total, they've allowed 7 power play goals in the last 4 games. So that's been a killer for them. And they're just not able to keep the puck out of the net when it comes to the man advantage. And I think especially without Cam Talbot or Alex Lyon, their top goalies, the Ottawa Senators need to pounce on this Red Wings team. Key to victory for me, Ross, for tonight for the Ottawa Senators is score 2 or more power play goals. Like, I've already got 1 power play goal in the bank already done. Timmy, give it to the German. He's going to double his power play goals on the season.
Let's go. And with that, to piggyback off of it, the Senators still with the best power play in the National Hockey League on home ice.
Yep.
In 12 home games, the Senators' power play is 18 for 49. That's 36.7%, ahead of the Jets, Hurricanes, Devils, and Avalanche as the top 5 in the league. Detroit's got the 6th best power play at home, but guess what? Y'all ain't at home. There might be pizza in the building tonight, but we're not at Little Caesars, and the Red Wings' road power play still pretty good. It's at 26.7%. It's 7th in the National Hockey League, but on the road, let's see if they've got to be dead last on road PK too, right? No, their PK is a little better on the road. That's kind of strange. What? It's 26th in the National Hockey League. The Sens are 30th in road PK, by the way.
Good thing we're at home.
We're at home.
But Ross, to also keep going on that, the Red Wings have allowed, I mean, no surprise being the lowest PK percentage in the league, but they've allowed the most power play goals against. So it's not just a percentage thing. They've allowed 25 power play goals in 25 games.
Wow. I've got another key to victory. Let's score some goals from the blue line tonight. Only 4 goals for the Sens blue line. Well, guess what? Jake Sanderson has more goals against Detroit than any other opponent in the NHL.
Ooh.
He's got 3 against Washington, no more than 1 against any other team except Detroit, where he has 4 goals and 5 points in 8 games against the Wings. So
yeah, let's get that cooking.
That would be a very nice way to take advantage. And we will not be tweeting out like we did 2 summers ago that we can't believe Detroit passed on Jake Sanderson. My lookout player, Lucas Raymond, I forgot to mention, he has 7 of his 9 goals this year are in the last 7 games.
Yeah, he's hot. He's hot.
He's hot. He's hot.
He's coming out of the oven fresh.
Yeah, nice. I like that. And with that said, Pilsy, how are you feeling about tonight's game? I know we want it to be a must-win, but do you think the Sens are going to show up here? I mean, they have against Detroit for years upon years, it feels like. So it is, though, the Red Wings' first visit to Ottawa since they won last year, where Ottawa had the best first period I've ever seen them play. Then Ridley Gregg got called for what I thought was a clean hit on Alex DeBrincat, and they scored on that power play, and it was disintegrated after that. I think Detroit scored 3 power play goals in that game, if I'm not mistaken, and it was a 5-2 or 5-3 win there. So the other home game for Ottawa last year was in Sweden. So
that's not their home.
It's not. Shout out Noodles. Iconic comment from him there. But so the last time Ottawa played a quote-unquote home game against Detroit, Tim Stützle took a baseball swing with 1 second left in overtime and got the win for Ottawa. But are you feeling okay about tonight's game? I think the first period's going to tell us a lot.
Ross, I'm so nervous about this game. And for Red Wings fans watching, hello. I'm embarrassed to say how badly I need this game. Like
playoff. This is a playoff game for Ottawa.
We're such losers that this game means so much. Like any other team, their first game up against a division rival where both teams are near the basement of the league, whatever, just roll through and keep going. This game means so much to me, to Sens fans, especially with the pizza line. I need this badly, and this is probably not a good thing, but I've reflected how badly I need this with my FanDuel account. So let's hope for something big here.
Thank God the Spotify Wrapped came out, because if the Sens lose this one, I think Sad Songs Say So Much by Elton John might be jumping up the rankings here. I'm hoping that my Spotify Wrapped jumps up with The Heat Is On.
Okay.
Because that was iconic for those 2 years. Whenever Danny Heatley would score at home, that would just reverberate through the CTC. I think we'll hear it tonight. I think when they announce him coming out, and I think we'll hear The Heat Is On. You need heat to cook a pizza, and Ottawa's hoping, and Sens fans are hoping, that the Ottawa Senators can get a victory against the Detroit Red Wings. We really appreciate everybody being a part of the show. You can follow us on social media at Sens Central on Twitter's where we're most active. Leave a comment below. Make sure to attach the pizza slice emoji to it. And if the Senators score 5 or more goals, we will be picking at random 5 Ottawa Senators fans to get themselves a large pizza, and we will be paying for those. That's our way.
Should we put stipulations on that large pizza? Because I have a feeling some people are going to get like a 10 topping large pizza, and it's going to be like $100.
2 toppings plus extra cheese.
Sure.
You got to get the extra cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't do it all the time, but once in a while, the extra cheese is good.
Okay.
Are
At Domino's, they're like, they prompt you. They're like, you're getting extra cheese, right?
Ross is like, why is this even a question?
Yeah, why is this even a question?
Are you a
I already
stuffed
put
crust guy?
I'm not against it.
Once in a while.
I actually had Pizza Hut for the first time in a long time at the hospital while Rach was about to go in labor. She's like really getting prepared. And I'm sitting there full large Pizza Hut. Like, all right, let's go. Here we go. But yeah, like if you put a stuffed crust pizza in front of me, I'm gonna eat it. I'll enjoy it, but I don't go out of my way to find them.
Yeah, I do it once in a while. Like once in a while, when it's just a dude's night or I'm just home alone and I got to figure out what I'm eating, I'll do the stuffed crust then. Just be a total pizza degenerate.
All right, that's Talking Pizza here on LOSB. We'll see you tonight in the postcast. It'll be me, Pilsy, and Jack taking you on a journey through this Ottawa Senators Detroit Red Wings matchup.
I got a final thought, Ross.
Whoa!
I know, crazy. Congrats to Brady Tkachuk and Linus Ullmark for being named to their Four Nation face-off teams, Team USA and Team Sweden. At least, Ross, we have some players representing their team nationally.
Internationally. And not only two players, shout out to a member of the Pizza Line, Daniel Alfredson will be an assistant coach on Team Sweden as well. So like, are we cheering for Sweden? If Ullmark's in net, because man, that could be a confidence builder.
Big time.
I mean, I hope he gets it before February, but
yeah, he's getting it tonight, Ross. He's my locked on player. Let's go.
Hey, 2-0. No. 1-0-1 in his last two starts.
There you go. Yep.
Let's go. All right. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll be back to break it down afterwards. Thank you for watching, listening, and engaging with the show and with Global Winnipeg. You guys are absolute sickos. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.